Hello, Dearborn Heights residents. Today we're doing Chief Chat with Chief Brogan from the Fire Department and Chief Swope from the Police Department. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So I know I'm getting a lot of calls and residents. They stop and they ask us. There's a lot of things going on. Obviously in the city. We'll start with Chief Brogan. With like say water safety. And I know a couple years ago we had a drowning. So like swimming pools or like ponds. I'd like for you to actually talk to the residents about something like that, how to avoid, incidents.
Yeah. You always have to be extremely careful if you have a swimming pool, if you're going to have kids out there, or even adults. But for kids in particular, kids from 4 years and under, that's the #1 cause of accidental death is drowning. And a lot of times you think it's someone unattended, just someone goes out into the pool. But usually it's with a group of people sitting out there, just no one's actively watching. And you think you're going to hear splashing and yelling for help, but you don't. It's just they slip under the water, and people may not realize anything's happened until you pick up that you don't see them, and then you find them on the bottom of the pool. And this has happened in the city before. We've had several drownings over the past few years. We've been very fortunate. One time we had a RN on scene. 2 kids had drowned. One had kind of went in to help the other one and pulled them both underwater, and then the adults found them both in the bottom of the pool. An RN jumped in and they got both the kids out. They started CPR, and we were fortunate to be close by, and we got both the kids back. But it's still a very scary moment for everyone. And we've had another incident where a 2-year-old fell into a pond in front of a house, and a police officer got there and started CPR and until we arrived. And again, we were fortunate to get the child back. But drownings can happen very, very quickly. It's very easy to just lose track for just 1 minute, and a child can slip under the water. And also, people associate drinking and hanging out at a pool together. And when you think of what drinking does, it impairs your judgment, your coordination, and that 70% of adults who drown have alcohol in their system. So just use common sense and just always be careful whenever you're around a body of water.
And the second thing that they talk about is, fire safety, with, I know we're getting the end of the season for barbecue and stuff like that, but you still see people barbecue and they put the barbecue, if it's chilly night, they put it close to their garage or inside their garage. Yeah. Especially they're using charcoal.
Right, yeah, so please don't do that. Any kind of fire needs to be out and kind of away from a structure. You'll see very frequently if you look around, there's a lot of garages that might have vinyl siding where the grill was too close and you'll see it melted. Sometimes people put them actually inside the garage to avoid rain. And you can not only have the accidental fire from the grill itself, but you can have carbon monoxide now start building up inside that garage. Another problem we see is apartments. They'll be on the outside on the balcony. That's not a safe place for a barbecue either. You have to just remember this is a fire, and fire can easily get out of control, and you want to be sure that you're as safe as you can be whenever you're working with a fire.
So another thing, I keep hearing about, traffic for Chief Swope. Yeah, a lot of speeders, see if we can talk to the residents about, what's going on with speeders. I know people always say the police is not out there. They're not, enforcing the speeders, people crossing red lights, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so the enforcement in Dearborn Heights is actually up. So our guys and girls or officers are out there doing a tremendous job trying to keep up with the amount of speeders and people who are violating the law in any type of way. No seatbelt, running red lights. So our officers are out there and they're working very hard. We actually have traffic safety programs going on where our officers are out there just to enforce hazardous moving violations. The problem is there's way more citizens in our city and motorists coming from other cities that pass through Dearborn Heights than our officers can handle. Obviously, we can't be everywhere at once. So, the community has to take accountability for their own actions, individually, all of us. And we should not be speeding when we are driving down the street, right? Endangering children and families. We shouldn't be parking across the sidewalk where kids are now going to have to ride their bicycles into the roadway, and parents are going to have to, or citizens are going to have to walk their dogs in the roadway. We want to avoid accidents, right? Because we do know there are speeders in Dearborn Heights, right?
Oh, yeah.
And we can't stop them all. We can stop a lot of them. I think our court has been pretty busy lately with some motorists that decided they wanted to speed in our city. But with that being said, everyone has to do their part in making sure that Dearborn Heights is safe, and speeding is a big problem, and we have to deter that.
Yeah, and also accidents, Chief. I'm sure you've seen some pretty gruesome accidents in the last year or so.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's almost always a result of someone driving too fast. And people think that, well, it's not going to happen to me. And, you know, it happens. Anyway, every day there's accidents. And just, we want everyone to slow down, be careful, don't get distracted with your phone. Obey the speed limit, always wear your seatbelt, and just use some common sense out there, because we've seen many people get hurt, and we'd like to not see that anymore.
And one thing I'd like to add, Mayor, would be the month of September, through the Office of Highway Safety Planning, we received a grant that passed through Wayne County to us. And September is driving or distracted driving enforcement month. So we're going to have many officers out there throughout the month of September, making sure that our residents are are not distracted while driving. And if you're doing that in the month of September, chances are you're going to get a violation. So we're going to be strict on distracted driving. We want to reduce accidents not only in Dearborn Heights but also in our neighboring communities as well. So we're going to be out there in full force and taking advantage of the grant funds by making sure that our officers are enforcing that law.
So also, both chiefs, who wants to start with impaired driving? I know Chief Swope, there's a lot of huge emphasis on impaired driving. So I know you guys have done a lot of good things, trying to make sure that the streets are safe, keep people under the influence away from, being behind wheels.
Yeah, so currently, towards the end of August, we started our Operating While Impaired grant-funded operation, where officers are out there in the evening hours into the early morning looking for drunk drivers. But over the last year, our drunk driving arrests and drug driving arrests, they're up hundreds of percent. I would say 600%. Amazing job by our officers to get impaired drivers off the roadway. We've made many, many arrests. And I believe it's probably saved lives, right? And going forward, it's going to be, we're going to continue, whether we get grant-funded monies or not, we're going to continue to enforce drunk driving and arrest as many people, because that's one crime that is just not acceptable by any means. And I'm sure Chief Brogan could, talk about some of the horrific things that they've had to deal with.
Yeah, and I know, Chief, with some of the stuff that you have with semi-trucks, with combination of impaired driving, distracted driving,
Right.
You guys have this equipment that with semi-trucks that you can lift it.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we've had impaired drivers that have gone underneath semi-trucks before, and so we do have the equipment that can come in and actually lift a truck up. We're one of the few departments around here that have that equipment, and we train on it on a regular basis. We've been very fortunate. We got all that equipment through grants, and it's one of the ways that we work to keep people safe. But the first step would be to make sure that they're not on the road in the first place, and try to keep all of us safe through aggressive patrol, like the way Chief Swope has been talking about.
Yeah, and Chief Swope, you've had like several sessions, with the Teen Academy. So that was, the residents looked at that like something huge, is positive for the city. They've never had anything like that in the city of Dearborn Heights. I guess, if you could just briefly talk about, the process, to get into it, and if we're planning on doing another one this year or next year.
Yeah, so the official name for the academy is the Youth Leadership Experience, right? It's a youth police academy, right? So we had two one-week sessions, 5-day sessions this summer, and we plan on doing it again next summer. But what it is basically youth who are interested in law enforcement, or maybe they want to test out to see if they may be interested in law enforcement. They signed up to attend an academy where they could come and learn about policing. They learned how to fingerprint a crime scene. They learned about impaired driving, right? And that's not only something that they could learn about, but it is also a prevention piece, because they got to drive a golf cart with the impaired driving binoculars on to see, wow, when someone's impaired, they truly can't drive an automobile or a golf cart or a bicycle for that matter properly or safely. So they were able to experience that, but also they were able to learn about other policing tactics. They got to see the canine in action. They got to learn how to do shoot or no shoot drills on a simulator over at the Westwood School District. So that was nice. That was really good for them. Just to show like what police truly go through,
Yes.
or what type of decision making is really involved in any type of incident, right? It's not just what you train for, and then everything is just automatic. It's you have to make a decision in a second, right? So these kids got to realize that police work isn't just about training and waiting for something to happen. Sometimes it's about making that split-second decision. They loved it. They had a great time. They were laughing, joking the entire time. I hope that we get a lot of people next year as well. I think we had close to 40 participants overall for this summer, and I hope to get around 50, 60 next year. So
I
I'm
think
excited about
we
it.
have some candidates already reached out to me, so I'm sure you're going to more than double that, Chief, next year.
That'll be great.
Yeah, so Chief Brogan, also I think you brought in a young man that actually from one of the local schools.
Yeah. So that was through our cadet program, and
Yeah.
so when Nathan Koska, he was 15 years old when he first reached out to us, and so he's at Annapolis High School where they can dual enroll with Schoolcraft College, so he can be getting his fire education at the same time as he's going through high school. And so we've been trying to get as many, see if we can get high schools involved in that dual enrollment program, and then they have to do so much ride time with us. And so he was very enthused, and he'd been doing a lot of ride-alongs with us, and so we watched him go through his fire academy, his basic EMT, he just finished that, and now he's been in his paramedic program, and we just got word that he passed his paramedic class, and so now he just has to take the national test. He applied for us, and actually we've given him a job offer, and I'm so excited to see that our first cadet has worked out as well as he has. This cadet program is brand new to us, and Nate has set the bar high for whoever's going to come in and take on the next role of cadet for Dearborn Heights. But yeah, it was an incredibly successful program, and we're looking forward to having more and more kids going through the program as the way he did.
Yeah, this is exciting, both the police and fire. We're engaging the youth and help, making sure that they have the tools if they want to get into the fire department or the police department.
Yeah.
So thank you both for engaging our youth. So again, we have a lot of stuff going on for the residents. You guys can actually look at our website or visit the social media for both the police and fire and see some of the great things that we have. Thank you for being here, both chiefs. Thank you. And I look forward to working with you guys and looking at the future, what you guys are bringing to the city. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ben.
And thank you for our residents for joining us at Chief Chat. Have a wonderful day.